Welcome back to the LeverUp AMA. I'm Marcus, and today we're going deep on something that every DeFi trader has run into, usually at the worst possible moment and probably didn't fully understand. Slippage. That moment when you submit a trade expecting one price and you get something worse. With me to break this down is James from the LeverUp team. James, good to have you back.
Always good to be here, Marcus. Slippage is one of those topics where everyone's had the experience, but the mechanics behind it are actually worth understanding because it shapes how you should be thinking about where and how you trade.
Let's start simple and build up. Most listeners have seen the slippage warning in a DEX UI. What's actually happening?
At the most basic level, slippage is the gap between the price you expected when you submitted a trade and the price you actually got when it executed. That gap can be small and harmless, or it can be significant enough to meaningfully affect your P and L. The reason it exists comes down to how DeFi markets are structured, particularly AMMs.
Walk me through the AMM side of this. Why does slippage exist structurally in an AMM?
AMMs price assets based on the ratio of tokens in a liquidity pool. The classic formula, X times Y equals K, means that as you take one asset out of the pool, the other becomes relatively more scarce, and its price rises against you. Every trade you make moves that ratio. Move it a little, you pay a little more than quoted. Move it a lot, because your trade is large relative to pool size, and you can shift the price significantly before your transaction even confirms.
So it's not just randomness. Your trade is literally causing the price to move against you as part of the execution.
Exactly, that's what's called price impact, and it scales directly with how large your trade is relative to the pool. A $10,000 swap on a $100 million pool barely registers. That same $10,000 swap on a $500,000 pool could move the price by a few percent before you even confirm.
And people think they're getting the quoted price, but they're not.
The interface shows you the expected price at the moment of quoting, but by the time the transaction actually executes on-chain, the pool state may have changed, either from your own trade's price impact or from other transactions that settled before yours.
That's the second layer, other transactions getting in between. Can you unpack that distinction between price impact and slippage?
It's a nuance that matters practically. Price impact is the effect of your own trade size on the price, deterministic, based on pool math. Slippage in the broader sense also includes movement caused by other transactions that execute between when you submit your trade and when it confirms on-chain. On a congested network, that window can be multiple blocks. Other traders, arbitrage bots, even liquidations, they can all alter the pool state before your transaction lands.
So you might have minimal price impact from your own trade size, but still experience slippage because of what happened in the mempool while you were waiting.
That's right, and this is why slippage becomes more unpredictable during high volatility periods. It's not just that prices are moving, it's that more transactions are competing for the same block space, widening the window for the pool to shift before yours confirms.
This is also where sandwich attacks come from, isn't it?
Exactly, a sandwich attack is when a bot detects your pending transaction in the mempool and front runs it, buying just before you, which pushes the price up, then sells immediately after your transaction confirms, locking in a profit. Your slippage tolerance is essentially the attack surface. If you've set 1% slippage, a bot can guarantee you pay close to 1% worse than quoted, and they pocket the difference.
Which brings us to the slippage tolerance setting. Everyone sees it, most people don't touch it. What does it actually do?
Slippage tolerance is your maximum acceptable deviation from the quoted price. You set it before confirming, and if the actual execution price would be worse than that threshold, the transaction automatically reverts. It's a protection mechanism. You're telling the protocol, execute at this price or worse by up to X%, otherwise don't execute at all.
So setting it low protects you from bad execution. But setting it too low means your trades fail constantly.
That's the trade-off. In volatile conditions, prices move quickly. If your tolerance is too tight, the price may have already moved beyond your threshold by the time your transaction lands and it reverts. You pay gas with nothing to show for it. Set it too high and you're giving bots room to exploit you. The practical advice: for small trades on deep liquidity, defaults like 0.5% to 1% are usually fine. For large trades on thin liquidity, you may need to widen it, but that's also a signal to think about whether the pool has enough depth for what you're trying to do.
And private mempools are an option for high-value trades.
Yes, MEV-protected RPC endpoints route your transaction so it doesn't sit visible in the public mempool. That removes the front-running opportunity. It's worth using for anything meaningful, honestly.
Okay, so that's the AMM spot side. Now I want to get into perp DEXes because that's a different architecture entirely. How does slippage work in perpetual futures?
It depends heavily on which type of perp DEX you're using. There are two main models. Order book-based perp DEXes match buyers and sellers at specific prices. Slippage that comes from market depth. If you submit a large market order and there isn't enough liquidity at the top of the book, your order fills across multiple price levels and your average execution price drifts from where you expected. That's familiar to anyone who's traded on a CEX.
And the second model.
Oracle-priced perp DEXes. This is structurally different. Instead of a pool or an order book, the protocol references an external Oracle feed for trade execution. You open a position at the Oracle price. The key thing here is that your position size doesn't affect that execution price. There's no pool to move and no order book to slice through. Whether you're opening $10 or $100,000, you're executing at the same Oracle price.
Wait, so there's genuinely no price impact from trade size in an Oracle-priced perp.
Within the venue's open interest parameters, yes. The Oracle price is the Oracle price. Your trade doesn't change it. That's a meaningful structural difference for anyone moving real size. LeverUp uses Oracle-referenced pricing from Pyth's feed. Positions are opened and closed at the mark price derived from that Oracle, not at a pool-based or order book-based execution price.
That sounds like it eliminates slippage entirely. Is that accurate?
It eliminates AMM-style price impact and order book slippage, yes. But that doesn't mean there are no execution-related risks to be aware of. The structure just shifts what you need to watch.
Let's get into that. What do you watch instead of slippage in an Oracle-priced perp?
Two things primarily. First, Oracle latency. If the Oracle feed lags behind the actual market price, what we call stale pricing, you're executing at a price that doesn't reflect current reality. That can be better or worse for you depending on direction, but the point is the divergence represents hidden execution risk. This is why Oracle freshness matters. A faster update cycle means the mark price tracks spot more closely, and there's less room for that divergence to create unexpected outcomes. We've written about this in the context of our Pyth Pro integration.
So instead of asking, what's my slippage tolerance, you're asking how fresh is this Oracle?
Exactly. That's the relevant execution quality question in this model.
And the second thing,
Funding rate as an ongoing cost. In AMM spot trading, if you're trading frequently, slippage accumulates as a per-trade friction. In perp trading, the equivalent ongoing cost is the funding rate. It's a continuous payment that accrues as long as you hold the position. It's not slippage in the traditional sense, but for high-frequency or long-duration holders, it's the analogous cost to monitor. The relevant number is the funding rate, not a slippage tolerance setting.
so the framework you use to evaluate execution cost changes, depending on the market structure.
Completely AMM spot, watch price impact and slippage tolerance. Order book perp, watch market depth and spread. Oracle priced perp, Watch Oracle latency and funding rate. Same goal, understanding your true execution cost, but the inputs are different.
Let me push back on something. Oracle pricing sounds almost too clean. What are the edge cases or failure modes?
Good question to push on. The main ones, Oracle manipulation risk. If the price feed itself can be influenced, the execution price can be gamed. This is why protocol design matters. Reputable Oracle networks like Pyth aggregate from multiple sources and have economic security behind them. The second is extreme volatility periods, where the Oracle may lag a fast-moving market more than usual, widening the gap between mark price and true spot. And finally, OI limits. If you're trying to open a position that would take the venue's open interest beyond its risk parameters, you simply can't. That's not slippage, but it's a practical ceiling on size.
So Oracle pricing doesn't eliminate all risk. It transforms the risk profile.
That's a fair way to put it. You're trading AMM slippage risk for Oracle quality risk. Most traders moving meaningful size find that trade favorable, Oracle quality risk is more measurable and more stable than AMM price impact on thin pools.
Before we wrap, the FAQ section of the article covers positive slippage. I think a lot of people don't realize that's even a thing. Can you explain it?
Slippage is just deviation from expected price. It can go either direction. If the market moved in your favor between submission and execution, you get positive slippage. You paid less than quoted or sold for more. In practice, for most retail traders on most trades, the friction of the system trends negative. Pools move against you, bots extract value, market moves happen. But positive slippage does occur, particularly when volatility is in your favor and your transaction lands at a propitious moment. It's not common enough to plan around, but it's worth knowing the concept isn't one-directional.
Makes sense. Any final thought on what traders should actually do with all of this?
Practically, check your price impact before confirming any significant AMM swap. Most interfaces show it, most traders ignore it. Understand what your slippage tolerance setting is actually doing and match it to the conditions. And if you're trading size, understand how the venue you're using prices execution, because the answer to how much will this cost me to get in and out is very different on an AMM versus an Oracle-priced perp.
James, this was genuinely useful. Slippage is one of those concepts that sounds simple until you start digging, and now we've dug. Here's the summary for listeners. Slippage is the gap between expected and actual execution price. In AMMs, it's driven by price impact from your own trade size plus mempool movement from other transactions. Slippage tolerance protects you from worst-case execution, but setting it too high invites sandwich attacks. In Oracle-priced perps like LeverUp, there's no price impact from position size. Execution is at the Oracle price. What to watch instead? Oracle latency and funding rate. The full breakdown with FAQ is in the C6 article on the LeverUp blog. Link in the show notes. I'm Marcus. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with more.
Thanks, Marcus.